Today we have a very special chart, one of my babies, one of my best discoveries. These circles predict Bitcoin future. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Aquaflow Crypto Lab. I want to thank this amazing community. We are already more than 500 people in the lab. That's a lot of people in one lab, but you are welcome, okay? So it means that you like making new experiments, that you have an open mind, that you like new ideas, and if you're new here, you came to the right place. This channel is about creating a new era for technical analysis. I want to inspire your skills. 3 years ago, I didn't know anything, and now I have my own style, and I'm sharing it with you. Of course, this is not financial advice. I'm just sharing my observations and my discoveries. Until now, I've been pretty accurate, but remember, these techniques are experimental. So you have to try it yourself and find out if you are able to use them too, okay? If you want to be part of the lab, if you want to make discoveries with us, just like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, you will be part of the journey. That said, let's begin. This chart is Bitcoin on a weekly time frame. We have two indicators on this chart. The first one is a moving average. It is a 20 weeks moving average, and I put it as a reference because it represents the trend of Bitcoin. It's a lagging trend, but it's still the trend of Bitcoin. Then we have the circles. Don't worry, I will explain everything. This is a technique I created. You have to take note on this one and you will thank me later, okay? You will try it yourself and tell me the results for you. You can try it on your favorite coins and yeah, just share the results with me in the comments. So I will explain what this technique is about. In green, you have what I call the setup circle because this is a circle that you have to draw first. As you can see, we have multiple points in contact with this circle. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? And every time we touch the circle, there is a big rejection to the downside. Okay? It was the case here, 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 here again here, and even after this amazing bull run during the bear market, it was a pretty strong point of resistance, okay? Okay, so once you have this circle that is based on accuracy, okay? Because you know these points in advance, right? So you will draw these circles once you know all these points. After this, you can draw all the rests, all the other circles. And for that, I have a theory. For me, once you draw a circle, it means that all the other circles with the same center, if they pass by another pivot point in the future, it will trigger pivot points also, okay? So if first you have to build the inner circle, okay? After this, you have the other circles, and every time you have a circle that passes through a pivot point, in the future, it will be a pivot point too. It has a great chance to be a pivot point. There is no certainty in these markets, but it has a great chance to be a pivot point. So let me show you. So right here, we have the second circle, right? We know that this was a great pivot point and we touched it and we bounced. And look in the future. Look in the future what happened. Here it was a resistance. Here it was again a resistance, right? Here it was a support. Isn't it amazing? I would like to see your face right now because once I discovered this, I was blown away. Okay, so let's move on. Here it was a pivot point again. Okay, so we had this line. Now we have this one, and we can see that just by using this pivot point in the future, we have pretty accurate pivot points, right? Let's move on. Then we have this support, this strong support. You see that Bitcoin touched this line, and then we had a pretty strong move to the upside, right? So this was a pivot point. And when you have a circle that goes through this, look, in the future, it was the exact bottom of Bitcoin in 2018. Okay, isn't it amazing? Let's move on. You see here, it was exactly the same thing. It was a strong support, right? And it's not finished. Look again. We have a pretty strong support here. We use the same technique. We have the circle going through this pivot point, right? And look in the future. It was the exact bottom of the COVID crisis. It's amazing, guys. No. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, because we need to explode the internet with this discovery, okay? I'm sharing it with you. We need to grow the channel. You need to show some support, because this is breathtaking, guys. You can already understand the pattern, okay? Because look, we had this circle, okay? So we came up like this, then down, we touch the circle, bounce, and then we cross the circle and we fall to the next circle, right? We bounce, then what's next? We cross and we fall to the next circle. It's really amazing, okay? I know I'm saying amazing a lot and I have the vocabulary of a 2-year-old, but guys, you have to admit, this is amazing. What's next? Look, here it was a support, right? The circle, and we went just here. And after crossing the circle, look, we went into a consolidation phase, okay? And it was the very top, right? This is amazing. So it was a perfect pivot line again, guys. It's amazing. And look, after this, right now we are getting closer to the current time. So here it was a pretty strong resistance, okay? And look, after crossing the line, we went straight up. So here again, if I put a point, it was a perfect pivot line again, guys. So you see the power of these circles. Once you have the right setup, you can read into the future. I want you to share what you think about this, because for me, this is really great. And I almost forgot, but yeah, I forgot about this one. You see that here we have a pivot point, and here it was a pivot point again. We fell down, but we had the moving average catching us for this bull run, right? Okay, so it was pretty accurate again. What about now? The next circle is in blue. You can see that here it was a pivot point, and here it was a pivot point too, okay? So in the future, it should be again a pivot point. We should hit the circle in, let's say, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. If you want to know what will happen, just subscribe to the channel, okay? Because we will keep a close look at this. Do you see the power of trying new things? This is how you make golden discoveries. But remember, this is still experimental, so I want you to try it yourself and let me know how it works. Guys, you have to admit, this is a very promising weapon to try to anticipate the next move of the market. Look, pivot point, pivot point, pivot point. Each line is a pivot point. And it keeps on going and going and going into the future. It's amazing, guys. It's amazing. However, it's not as easy as it sounds, because first you have to find out what is the setup circle, and this is the most difficult thing to do. If you don't have the right setup circle, it won't work, okay? And you have pretty bad results at the end. So use this carefully and let me know if you make new discoveries for your favorite coins. Okay, if you find something for XRP, let me know. I have some circles. I will show them in the future. If you find out that circles work for XRP, for DOT, for Ethereum, let me know, guys. Here is another example, okay? You can see I have my setup circle just right here. It was a pivot point here, okay? Here, all this area, okay. Here it was a pivot point, it was a pivot point, it was a pivot point, okay? What happens next? Here, for the next circle, we have a pivot point right here. I will put it in yellow, okay? Strong yellow, like this, okay? This way you can see it well. So here it was a pivot point, here it was a pivot point again, here it was resistance, right? Okay, what's next? And here it was a pivot point, because when we crossed it, we went all the way up, okay? After this, here you can see again, it was a pivot point just right here. It was a pivot point right here. It was resistance, then support. Okay, you can see it like this. Okay, resistance, up, we crossed it, then support, and then we went up, right? What next? Here again it was a small resistance, because you can see the wick, right? You can see the wick like this, and then we used it as a support, a small support just right here, right? Okay, but it wasn't as accurate as the ones before, okay? But we can't be right all the time, guys. But let's move on. After this, you have one point here, another one just right here, another one just right here. Okay, what happened in the future? You see that you have one point, strong support just right here, and here it was a resistance, right? Okay, it wasn't very accurate, but still you see the body is still below, so it was a resistance. And then it was a resistance, right? After this it was still a resistance with a big wick, and after we crossed it, okay? And what about the last one? Oh, the last one is great, because I will put it in red. Okay, no, it's not this one, it's this one, right? Okay, put it in red because this is the current resistance, okay? And what about this one? You see we have one pivot point just right here, and then one pivot point just right here. And here, what do we have? The current all-time high of Bitcoin. Isn't it amazing, guys? Guys, let me know. I'm so excited to read your comments, to know what you think about this new technique. And yeah, this is great. But remember, guys, it's not as easy as it sounds. So you have to try and try again until you feel comfortable with the technique. That's all for today's video. It's time to leave the Crypto Lab. Thanks for watching. Do not ever be afraid to make new experiments. And if someone tells you you're crazy, just tell them. Time will tell.